Are you looking for better health but feel a little overwhelmed with it all, thinking there might be something missing? Maybe you're looking for action steps to take that get to the real root of the issue and actually move the needle in your health. Here on the Cornerstone Integrative Healing Podcast, we will share the link between our physical, emotional, and spiritual health, all while pointing you to the one and only true healer, Jesus. I'm Kari, Coody, your co-host. As a pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner, I spent 20 years in the traditional healthcare world, and it was definitely long enough to know there's a huge need for preventative healthcare and holistic healing. I'm excited to have conversations around these topics with my co-host and friend, Jenn.
Hey, I'm Jenn Patriarca. God gave me this desire to help others with natural healing a long time ago. With more than 20 years of experience in the functional nutrition field, God decided it was time to join forces. Kari and I are colleagues turned faithful partners in this mission God has put on our hearts. A mission for true healing, one that encompasses an integrative approach. With Jesus taking the lead, our aim is to point you toward Him as we help you peel back the layers. Through conversations, you can expect straightforward information on holistic health topics that include physical, emotional, and spiritual action steps that will create real change in your health, and honest conversations around the ups and downs that can come with healing. It's time to have joy in your life again and the energy to do all that God has called you to. Be sure to subscribe for new episodes every Monday.
Well, it's Kari here with Jenn, and we have a special guest today. We're really excited to have Jess on with us. We're going to be just continuing our summer series, giving you some just some information to maybe help you make some swaps and changes and just be more intentional in the summer. And this conversation we're both really excited about because we've both seen the benefits of getting outside more, especially in the morning, to get that light on our eyes and our skin. And so we wanted to bring Jess on just to have more of this conversation around, like, why does that matter? Why is it such a big deal? And why does it impact our lives in so many different ways? So Jess, we would just love it if you would just take a few minutes to just tell us a little bit about yourself and like why you're so passionate about this.
Yeah, definitely. So I started out maybe about a decade ago, coming into holistic health and, eating better after living a very conventional life growing up.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And it was very eye-opening to me to see that natural health was very effective and very, minimally invasive. And it was just the way to go for me.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward to my early 20s, I got certified to be a health coach through IIN. And it was wonderful. I loved it. I was really excited to start my health coaching career. And at the same time, I was spending a few years on my own healing journey with a mineral balancing practitioner. And I was detoxing heavy metals through this mineral balancing protocol. And it was awesome. I loved it. Just continuing on with natural health. And through my practitioner, I ended up finding a woman named Kari Bennett. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. She then, through her, I found the Quantum Biology Collective, which at the time had just started opening up their mentorship for doctors, nurses, coaches to learn about quantum biology. And I had no idea what that was. I had never heard those two words together before, honestly. And honestly had no background in like major biology or quantum physics. But I had a chat with them. They said, basically, it's just about getting back to nature. We talk a lot about sunlight. We talk a lot about just a natural side of health that I had not learned about yet. And I was very intrigued. So I ended up taking the course, and it was absolutely eye-opening. It was really cool because, for one, I had never heard these things before, but I had also just moved from Baltimore, Maryland to Tucson, Arizona. So completely different climates. As a redhead too, living in the desert, one of my concerns was I'm going to need to stay out of the sun. I am going to get burnt. Yeah. So I started learning all of these things about safe sunlight practice through the Quantum Biology Collective and started applying them to myself. And lo and behold, that first summer, I wasn't getting burnt. And I was converting from being a night owl to all of a sudden I was waking up with the sunrise, and I was going outside, and I was going out in the middle of the day, and I just wasn't, my skin wasn't reacting the same way. And I was kind of actually you know, in better moods, and just my health was improving even more.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was so amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah, and just the fact that I had been a night owl my whole life, to now being, waking up with the sun naturally without an alarm clock, not sunburning. It was just really, really amazing. So I started diving more deep into the science, and yeah, so now my health coaching is primarily based on circadian rhythm, sleep, and sunlight, and it's really, really, really been cool.
That is amazing. I'm so intrigued, Jess, because I, of course, am just starting on this light journey. And I can tell you personally, like you, I am amazed. Like when you talked about like you were just naturally waking up like right about sunrise, that's what started happening for me. Like I started waking up just about sunrise. And of course, I'd walk outside and, get my sunlight. And of course, well, we're going to get to all this. I'm so excited, Jess. But since we're talking about sunlight and circadian rhythm, do you just want to give our listeners who maybe don't know anything about first morning light and circadian rhythm and just kind of the short version of why they're super important?
Yeah, so our circadian rhythm is so important to our health because every single organ in our body runs on a time clock. And our suprachiasmatic nucleus in our brain, our SCN, is the master time clock. So it's very responsive to light. And so what sets our circadian rhythm, this 24-hour cycle of our biological time clocks, what sets it is light and also food intake. So the timing of food intake. But it's very important because all of our processes happen on this clock, right? Our hormones, our digestion, everything is running on a clock. And so that's why it's so important to see first morning light, is because it sets your circadian clock. First morning light really has this great, perfect blend of blue and red light that really, really helps set our circadian rhythm.
So first morning light so you're talking, is this before the sun breaks the horizon?
First morning light is just sunrise in general. So
just in general. Okay. And that has the blue and the red, correct? Which in my understanding, you can't get in artificial light. Is that correct, Jess? Some of the spectrums that we're getting in the first morning light is not present in artificial light.
Yes, of course. Yep. The colors may be the same in artificial light, but the amounts of each color, right? So artificial light tends to be very heavy in blue.
Right. And then also, it's even if it's raining or it's cloudy or you're still getting more light. Even if it's not sunny, you should go outside and get your first morning light, correct?
Of course. Yep. Because that infrared and the red is still coming through the clouds. And then also the blue light still comes through the clouds, not as much. So you may have to stay out a little bit longer. But of course, if it's cloudy or raining, definitely still go outside. You're getting tons of benefits.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's break down, because this is really interesting to me. So before the sun breaks the horizon, which is the infrared, what does that do? So stepping out right, I guess at sunrise, right, is encouraged because from what I've read, this is what turns on the hormone centers in the brain, correct? And it makes a master hormone called pregnenolone. So for those that don't know, pregnenolone is like the mother of all hormones. It can really turn into any steroid hormone. Can you talk a little bit just about why that's super important and why, we both talked about how we naturally got up at sunrise and started, getting on that circadian rhythm, but why that, for people who might be groggy in the morning or are not morning people, why that first morning light is super important.
Yeah, definitely. So it basically boils down to our cortisol and our melatonin patterns. Mm-hmm. And so in the morning, what naturally wakes us up without an alarm clock, right on the perfect day, would be that our melatonin that we're releasing throughout the night has stopped being released. Mm-hmm. So our body is no longer releasing melatonin. Then we wake up. we step outside in this first morning light that has that perfect mix of red and blue because it slowly starts to increase our cortisol, which is a great thing in the morning. We really want that slow rise in cortisol. So that's really important for supporting your cortisol and melatonin throughout the rest of the day. What happens when sometimes if we wake up and we look right at our phone, and then our phone is so bright that our body instantly thinks it's solar noon because they do have the same color temperature if you have your phone on intense brightness. And so then what happens is your cortisol spikes. And then for the rest of the day, you're kind of on this roller coaster of like up and down of cortisol, especially based on what you eat and blood sugar and things like this. So what the first light really does is smoothly rises your cortisol. And then that's the importance too of like getting out during UVA rise and then UVB and then watching the sunset as well, because it keeps you on this smooth path of rising cortisol while your melatonin is down. And then at night, your cortisol can slowly dip while your melatonin is rising. So what I tell people who feel really groggy in the morning and just can't get up and they're so tired, what really helps with that is blocking artificial light at night. Because what the artificial blue and green light at night is doing is preventing the release of the melatonin that you've built up during the day.
Yeah. So that's true. Like even if you're building it up correctly, it might not be being released correctly.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm just curious. I'm sorry, Jenn, just really one quick question. So what if you can't get up right at sunrise? I'm just thinking about, I mean, I get like people just have all kind of different schedules, maybe that based on their job. I mean, at any level, it's just good to go outside as much as possible, to be honest. Right.
Yeah, definitely. And with my clients who can't do it at first, I totally, or if their schedule doesn't allow, I don't force them to do it at all, right? Just get outside as soon as you wake up. That's the most important thing. And then also too, I always recommend for my clients and for your listeners as well, is to download an app called the Circadian app, Circadian Life, I think it is called. And that will tell you in your area, at your location, and during the time of year it is, what time sunrise is, what time UVA rises, and UVB rise. And so when I say sunrise, I generally mean it doesn't have to be like right when the sun rises, the minute it rises. It's that window of time, even like 10 to 20 minutes before the sun actually breaks the horizon, from that time to UVA rise. So right now where I live, that's about an hour window.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I'm definitely getting that app. I think that's a good way, just because sometimes we get so technical about it. Like, I guess I just wanted to be like, anytime you can get outside in the morning, it's going to do you some good. But then once you start doing that, then you could go deeper with it, And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So something simple. Thanks for simplifying that, Kari. So if they can get outside within an hour of sunrise before they look at their phone or turn on lights, that would be really helpful for helping the slow rise of their cortisol, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I always recommend too, if people need to get up before the sunrise for their job, or for kids or whatever, to have a high quality pair of blue light blocking glasses that they can throw on too before the sun rises.
And I do that. I think that's been helpful. You don't realize that, right? When you get up, what's the first thing you do? You usually go to the bathroom and you flip on the light. So, right. That's super helpful. So we talked about obviously that slow rise of cortisol and helping us get revved up for the day. Do you want to talk a little bit about, because this is what really sparked my interest because of my passion with mental health, is what they call the neurotransmitter magic. So that 10 degrees above the horizon, that UVA light and what it does.
Yeah. I love this question because it's so helpful, especially for anxiety, depression, things like that, things that have to do with the brain, right? And so this is the time UVA rise, that time, that 10 degrees above the horizon, where the aromatic amino acids in our eyes, like tryptophan, tyrosine, phenylalanine, I always have trouble saying that one, they turn into things like melatonin, our thyroid hormones, and things like serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline. So really important things. And if we are missing that window of time, we could be missing important neurotransmitters like those things.
Yeah. And just so you know, so the amino acids that she mentioned, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So amino acids are just breakdown of proteins. And so these simple proteins, I'll call them for just simplicity's sake, they're not really proteins yet, but basically with that specific light, and Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a rookie at this. They interact, so the photons from the light interact with these amino acids in the eyes and create these neurotransmitters as well. Do they burn off the melatonin? I've heard that how does that work? Or is it just the cortisol rising and the melatonin naturally dipping?
So the science part of it is not my forte, but I do know that the tryptophan, that amino acid is what turns into melatonin. So we build up our melatonin through the sunlight.
Gotcha.
And like Kari was saying, the absence of blue light at night is what releases that melatonin.
Gotcha. Okay. So, right. So maybe we should jump there just for a second, how important it is you want to talk about filtering out that junk light?
Yeah, totally. And one more important thing to note, actually, with that UVA rise and speaking about filtering out light, is that sunglasses will really impede this process. So one of the things I get my clients to do is slowly reduce their time with sunglasses. Because that will mess up that pathway activation.
Sure. Right. And so even if they're that's a good point. So even if you're wearing glasses, Jess, because they put the blue light blocking in a lot of glasses nowadays. So if they wear glasses and you have the blue light within your glasses, you need to take off your glasses, right, Jess?
Yes. And even if they don't have that slight blue light filter, I always recommend, for as long as you can, if you can safely walk without your glasses or safely be outside without your glasses, to take them off, because even the glass will filter out beneficial frequencies.
Wow. Okay. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Really good to know.
Yeah. So then filtering out artificial light at night, I always recommend getting a high quality pair of blue light blocking glasses. So for the nighttime, at least an orange lens. Some people with severe sleep cases, such as insomnia or other sleep disorders, a red lens would be great for them. But definitely orange lenses. Or you could go the route of, which is what me and my husband do, is we use red and amber lights and candles at night.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Do you have links on some of these things just that we could provide the listeners, just so they can go check it out, like favorite brands of things or what you've purchased? I would love to include that.
Yeah, I do. So it's on my website, livecircadian.com, under my product recommendations.
Oh, perfect. Okay. We'll definitely link that.
Just so the listeners know, what is your favorite pair of blue light blocking glasses?
Yeah, there's a couple different brands I love and have used over the years. I personally use Bon Charge right now, just because I am very petite. I have a very small head. And so kids' glasses are too small for me, but adult glasses are too large. So they have the option to send in frames and get the lenses replaced with blue light blocking lenses. So I've gone that route. Viva Rays is a really great brand. They have a 3-in-1 clip-on. So you can have the yellow lenses for like daytime computer use or indoor office use. Then you can clip on an orange lens, or you can clip on a red lens as well.
Two glasses, if you wear glasses all the time, is that kind of?
Oh, no, it's the base. It's the yellow base that they provide.
Okay.
But there is a company called Spectra 79, which I also love. And these are all on my website, but they do make lenses that you can clip onto any pair of glasses that you already own.
Okay. That's good for people that already, wear glasses.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a lot of these companies too, like Viva Rays, Bon Charge, they all will do prescription as well. So you can send in your prescription and you can get them. Yeah.
I know like blue light blocking glasses are kind of all the rage. A lot of people are talking about them, but for good reason. Like they're not just, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Like a fad,
trendy, right?
It truly is. Yeah. And kind of as we, look to like wrap up this conversation, I think it's just so important. And I want you to talk about this and just like making this a lifestyle. Like I get you might start with just the morning light, but truly like we should be outside, sort of as much as possible and just live a lifestyle that is more in tune to nature, being outside. that kind of thing. I know that I've seen a lot of benefits from that. Obviously, morning light is so big, but just being outside is so healing.
Yeah, you get a lot of really soothing benefits, especially to your nervous system as well.
Yeah.
But if you can pair your sunlight exposure with grounding too, bare feet to the bare earth,
Yeah.
to gain electrons, which is our energy source, as well as food, right, and sunlight. But those can be really, really powerful healing modalities. But yeah, it really is. Once you start doing it, and over a few weeks or a few months, I mean, it really does become a lifestyle. Like I said, I was a complete night owl. I mean, I would stay up 2, 3, 4 in the morning most nights.
Wow.
Yeah. And especially because I was a dancer as well. So I did swing dancing, and that only happened at night. Okay. So when I started doing these things, obviously I had to decide what's more important to me, my health or the dancing. And so I stopped dancing because I really only do those kinds of things that happen in the daytime now. But it has been the number one driver in my health, and it really does bring me so much joy to follow my circadian rhythm because of how good it makes me feel.
Truly.
Yeah,
I think we overcomplicate things a lot.
Yes. And I just want to tell the listeners, we talk a lot about foundations on this podcast. And for me personally, this has been truly life-changing. Like, I absolutely 100% notice my sleep is much better and my moods are better. I mean, I have seen, following the circadian rhythm. And so this is something that doesn't cost you anything, really. Maybe a pair of, blue light blocking glasses, which I bought the Spectra 479 on Amazon for $35. So it really doesn't cost you a lot of money, and you can get a ton of benefit on this. Jess, we are so grateful for you coming on and just sharing your expertise with us. And we'd love to have you back and maybe dig deeper. There's so many things I want to ask you, but I know we're running out of time. So we just want to say just how grateful we are. And we'll link Jess's information in the show notes. And if you want to learn more and really work on your circadian rhythm, Jess, can you just give that website one more time?
Yeah, it's livecircadian.com.
Great. And then also same thing on Instagram, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Follow Jess. She has some great things.
Yes. Thank you so much. Truly. It's been a great conversation. And honestly, excuse me, we really wanted you to be on because I think it's so important to look at this from a biblical aspect. I know we didn't talk a ton about that, but our bodies were made in a certain way. That's it just like hearing all this, it just makes you think, wow, God is just the ultimate creator. I mean, truly. And so it's just aligning with that, there's so many benefits to that. And so thank you for what you do and just serving people. And we've loved this conversation. Thanks for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really fun.